Welcome everyone to the Nerd Nook. I'm your host, Evan Teague, and with me, like always, is Noah Bailey. So today we have a ton of smaller topics to cover. I'm not sure exactly how meaty any of these necessarily be, but we talk about, any individual for a long time, short time, whatever, but just we have a ton of stuff to go over today. It's been a while since we last talked, but starting with this first story, I'm not really sure how relevant or big it really is anymore, but we haven't had a chance to discuss it yet. So after the release of Black Widow, the fact that it released on both movies and streaming, Scarlett Johansson, it was a part of her contract that she were to get paid at least partly based on the box office results of the movie.
Right.
And the Disney Plus Premier Access amount doesn't directly go to that number. So Scarlett Johansson is not happy, and she is attempting to sue Disney over it.
Woo! Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the details are a little fuzzy just because litigation and but it's like from what it seems like, it's like Disney's trying to cheap her out of the Disney Plus kind of money and kind of just focus on the box office. But originally, this was planned to not even be on Disney Plus.
Yes.
And when the contract was written, I believe, and I don't know if it was amended or not, but I feel like they're kind of oh, well, I mean, technically we didn't do anything wrong. And and it's kind of I think you know what you're doing here. You know what I mean? But
yeah, I even specifically remember bringing this up last March, right before, last March, I guess this past March, Black Widow was still supposedly coming out in May of 2021. And I specifically remember saying in March that that's probably not going to change again because it is in her contract that it cannot go to streaming or that'd be a breach of contract. And then the next week they delayed it again. I was like, I guess they fixed that, but they apparently didn't.
Right.
So
it was probably one of those things where they're like, oh no, we'll get this figured out. And then they kind of just didn't.
Yeah.
Because oh, what you gonna do? Sue us?
Yeah. And even Kevin Feige is like, I don't like how Disney is treating my people.
Yeah, because I mean, and that's the thing that I don't like. You kind of know this isn't this feels very business executive-y trying to it's like, guys, we're all rich. Let's not split hairs about this.
Yeah.
But they're splitting hairs.
Yeah. And I'm not exactly obviously, like you just said, Scarlett Johansson is very rich. She is one of the biggest name actresses out there right now. So I'm not personally gonna cry over her missing out of $50 million. That amount of money means nothing to me. But it's just the type of thing where it's Disney can easily afford to lose $50 million.
Exactly.
Two, Robert Downey Jr. got paid $15 million to be in 3 minutes of Spider-Man: Homecoming. So
he had 2 scenes, legitimately had 2 scenes. One of them he wasn't. It was just his voice.
Exactly. He spent a day and a half in the recording booth. Spent part of that day in front of a green screen. That's it.
That is it. Yeah, I mean that's I think it's 15 million. And again, she had her own movie. And the thing here is, like you said, this isn't just any company. This is Disney.
Mm-hmm.
$50 million is loose change to them easily. Especially come on. It's her movie, it's and it's not it's obvious, everyone knows. I know people they were yeah, we got on Premier Access. Yeah, we got on Premier Access on Disney Plus. It's dude, that's a lot of money. They made I mean, how much do you know how much it was? How much is it?
I think the lawsuit is saying the damages could be up to $50 million.
Right. That's dude, that's not even again, that's not even a large percentage of how much total money the movie made.
Mm-hmm.
Star actress who a movie's about her, and it's dude, come on, it's $50 million. You guys can afford it. But
yeah,
of course,
especially since that that has been in her contract since production on this movie started back in like
Exactly.
2018, probably, which COVID was not at all a factor in that back then.
Right.
So because it does technically have the biggest domestic release since COVID started, but it should be way higher
Yes.
in any other given year. If it was
Yes.
released during a normal May 2020, easily at least 800 million, probably a million.
Probably a billion, just because
Yeah,
Marvel movies is like the new normal for Marvel movies now.
exactly. But right now it's sitting at about 351 million worldwide, not including the premier access. So it's probably closer to like 420, 430 million if you
Yeah.
include that.
Yeah. And
So
I really don't see why they're not giving it them, because again, it's like, yes, it's not specifically stated in the contract, but at the same time, this contract was, yeah, like you said, it was written years before this wouldn't even apply. So it's like, you would think some kind of amendment would have been made or something. Because again, I remember I remember for the longest time, like, this is gonna be only in theaters. This is only gonna be in theaters, and then and no premiere access now. And I was like, uh-oh. So I remember thinking that. I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah, like,
Not good.
and I'm sure it was technically the best business decision for Disney to do that, because all the people that bought it on Premiere Access probably weren't going to go to theaters right now anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So it's either them get no money from those people or get at least a little money from these people to watch Black Widow, and then they can kind of retroactively add that amount to to box office numbers for their like investor meetings and stuff.
Right.
What they should have done was tell ScarJo, hey, the amount that will tell people it made, that is the amount that your cut will come out of. Like, if it does end up making, let's say, 450 million worldwide plus during your access, you will get whatever percent of that amount, not just box office. But that amendment never happened, so it's still up in the air whether or not ScarJo will get her.
I feel like she should, and I think everyone kind of knows that. But again, the law is one of those things that the right answer isn't always what really ends up happening. And
especially when you're dealing with Disney, and Disney
exactly.
has made very shady business decisions in the past.
Yeah.
Like dating all the way back to Snow White in the 30s.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. And it's like, man, I feel like this is going to cause some bad blood between, like, definitely, like, I mean, granted, this is, this is her send off or whatever for the MCU.
Yeah.
So, like, it kind of isn't as scary, but
she's still like,
she's still
a pretty young actress, relative to really like other people in the MCU.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, in theory, A, with multiverse now a thing, or B, they could just bring her back. Like, it doesn't matter why, they could just bring her back in a future thing, like, theoretically. But if this is how Disney's gonna treat her, then she's just not gonna want to.
Yeah, I mean, and again, like, she has no reason to, because it's like, I mean, that's really kind of messed up. You think about it, and like, yeah, she can go somewhere. And granted, yeah, I mean, again, Scarlett Johansson, she's made enough of a career for herself. She can do something else pretty easily.
Yeah. But if Disney continues on their tirade and keeps, getting asymptotically closer to becoming a monopoly,
right,
and you alienate one of the biggest actresses on the planet,
right,
she's not going to want to work with you. Same thing with Oscar Isaac and Finn, what's his name? John Boyega. Like, they just don't want to work with Disney anymore.
Yeah, which is kind of like, yeah, but that's what's happening. You're seeing this more and more. You're just like, kind of terrible. Like, and again, I think this is definitely, Scarlett Johansson among the three names is definitely the biggest name. So it's like, that's really like, I think you got some pretty heavy hitters all of a sudden are like, this company's kind of terrible. It's like, dude, we gotta, like, I mean, they either need to fix some things, which they probably won't, or I don't know, maybe people will stop working. But it's hard because, again, Disney owns, like, basically everything. So sooner or later, they're just gonna have every movie. So it's like, if you want to be an actor, you gotta work for us.
Yeah. Which that shouldn't be the case, but
Nope.
it kind of is.
Yeah, because the law is weird and monopolies are kind of can be existing if you do it the right way. Like,
Because there technically is other major competition. They're not a monopoly. I don't know.
I mean, that's what I mean. It's like, how are they? Like, they're not, but they kind of are.
Essentially, because Universal and Warner Brothers still exist, like those are really the only two other major, like I guess Lionsgate technically, Sony kind of, like, but even not really.
Like, not really.
They don't compete with Disney most of the time.
Right. Because isn't it like, what is it, 30 or 40%? How much is it supposed
I
to
think
like?
Disney currently owns approximately 39% of like the movie industry.
Right. It's like, yes, I think 40 is a monopoly or
Yeah.
something like that. So it's like 39.9999, and then they have some under the table stuff. And it's just like, so it's a monopoly. It's just not on paper a monopoly. Like, that's so like, what? Like,
Yep.
but yeah, but I mean, it does make sense.
Yeah. So like essentially I would prefer Scarlett Johansson winning this lawsuit in order to maybe have Disney reconsider their whole ordeal going forward. Because if they win, then they very easily could just continue to be complacent.
Yeah.
And you know,
kind of messed up.
Yeah. But we'll see how that shakes out. I assume it's still going on. I know it was a big story a couple of weeks ago. I haven't really heard much about it since, but I assume it's still.
Yeah, I think so. I feel like we're gonna hear about it once it like gets settled one way or the other.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be a thing where they just like settle out of court. Scarlett will get like 20 million and just call it a day or whatever, but if even. But we'll see. Sticking with Marvel stuff for a second. It's been confirmed that Hawkeye will premiere on November 24th. So, yep.
All the stuff coming down the line. Yeah.
Hawkeye is probably the MCU show that I'm least excited for at the moment. But there are actually some pretty heavy rumors that like this show could potentially have some interesting cameos from the Netflix shows. Like apparently Kingpin is rumored to be in it in some capacity. Yeah. Because apparently Kingpin was responsible. I think Kingpin was responsible for Kate Bishop's parents' death in the comics, or someone like closely related to Hawkeye. Their parents died to the hands of Kingpin. So like if they go through that story completely, it would make sense for Kingpin to show up.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be down for that. Yeah, maybe they can have some way Netflix shows kind of sneak in. There's also the Black Widow after credit scene that kind of a little bit, works with that too. So yeah, definitely some potential for that to be really interesting as well. So far, the shows have been good. So
I don't think Barton will die in this movie or in this show, but having Yelena, go after him for whatever reason. That could be fun.
Yeah, that'll definitely be entertaining. Like, will be some good banter. I'm getting too old for this. You know what I mean? Like, all that.
And Val is absolutely showing up again somewhere in there, like Thunderbolts, or I don't know who all is left to be collected, but someone from that show is gonna go in the Thunderbolts in the future. So just yeah, I'm excited. Enough, I guess. Like I'm still like we just haven't really seen anything from it aside from a couple of like screenshots. But it's a Marvel thing. I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know what I mean? Like, worst case scenario, I'm only gonna watch it once. Like, it's gonna be pretty good. There's no reason to think it's gonna be bad. You're just not as into it as everything else.
Actually, speaking of Marvel stuff coming out real soon, Marvel's What If is premiering this Wednesday.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think the Captain Carter episode is be the first one.
Okay.
That's
okay. Yeah, I did not know it was coming out this soon.
Yeah,
I was
sure
very excited
11th,
for this.
Which I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
this is gonna be good.
Yeah, and they also confirmed that they are officially creating an animated branch of the MCU to make future animated MCU new projects, which yeah,
Yep.
like I'm loving the art style of What If. I think just the concept of like this animated show theoretically can be a canon thing because of the multiverse, but like if they don't want to use those concepts, they can just be one-off things. If they're a big hit or if there's a very interesting idea, they can move into the actual movies. But yeah, I think having a whole animated universe that you can consider canon to the MCU or even not, I don't care. Just make Marvel stuff. I don't like make good Marvel animation shows. There aren't really that many good Marvel animated shows. So
No, animation for Marvel's definitely kind of been not their strong suit,
yeah.
especially compared to DC over the years. But this could be like really promising.
Yeah. Yeah. And they said there this I think this next thing I'm gonna say was maybe taken out of context or worded phrased badly in the interview, but when Kevin Feige was talking about the animated branch, he said that more coming later this year. I think the interviewer may have taken it out of context from him maybe saying, look forward to more Marvel shows in the future as opposed to more animated shows. But
Right.
regardless, we're getting more animated shows, down the line. They're making an entire branch
Eventually,
for it.
yes.
Yeah, it's coming.
Yeah, and I think this is I think the What If's a really good way to start off too. Like just because, I think it's gonna be really cool. It's gonna you can use it's not gonna be, necessarily can use characters that are not, not around in the MCU anymore or do whatever you need to do to kind of just make it kind of just comic booky, kind of just do whatever you want to feel like needs to be done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really.
Plus there are so many cool concepts from the comics that they're just never going to be in the MCU for one reason or the other. Like Marvel Zombies, never happening in the MCU.
Right. I mean, that's way too rough. But
Animated show, sure, why not?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's gonna look good. Marvel Zombies is gonna be awesome. That's something I think everyone's kind of like thought about, but you're like, you can't do that. You can't have, Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. like, eating people's faces or nothing, but like,
it's
you kind of want to see it a little bit. So like, it'll be kind of.
You can kind of suspend your disbelief a little more when it's animated
characters
doing it. So
right.
Yeah. Yes. One last Disney thing. Bad Batch season 2 has been confirmed.
Okay. Now, can we talk about this for a second?
Yes, we can.
Because what you shouldn't have told us that. I feel like now I'm a lot less like concerned about the finale because I know there's another season.
So that is true. I personally never thought they were gonna die in this show anyway, or at least this season. I've always kind of felt like they were like Dave Filoni. This is essentially his chance to just do more Clone Wars stuff.
Yeah.
And I think he's just going to keep doing Clone Wars-esque stuff until he feels satisfied enough, which hopefully is forever.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's going to just be like, this is a one and done season, then I'm done with this world. I don't think he can do that.
Well, I mean, I didn't so much mean it in terms of just like done with like Clone Wars, but it's kind of like, I guess for me, it was very like, not that I was like, oh, they're all gonna die, but it was like, now I'm like, I feel like the suspense is very like lowered. Like I feel like, it's not that, with that, because again, it's like maybe they could die. The characters will shift, maybe like the Bad Batch fills up, but then it'll be about Rex or something. Like, it could be something else. Like, I was kind of thinking, but then
so
like, okay,
consider this. The Clone Wars as a show theoretically should have no suspense, period, because every single major named character is going to survive into episode 3.
Right.
Yet stuff with Obi-Wan gets tense very often.
Yes.
So like the only kind of expendable character are all the clones in Ahsoka because they didn't actually show up in the movies. And even in the last episode of season 7, with Ahsoka and Rex, you knew they survived into Rebels, but it still felt very tense, very epic.
Like, how are they gonna? Yeah, I guess true.
So knowing that these characters might survive isn't necessarily an attractor for my enjoyment.
Yeah, I guess it was just kind of like I like it when like it's going and then like you get to the last episode and it's like season 2 is coming. You're like, oh my god, like you know what I mean? I guess that kind of I like it more when it's kind of like added on. Like, it's one thing when there's a show that there's plenty to go for. Like, with Invincible, it's not like a big deal. It's like, yeah, we know more is coming because we only got 8 episodes. But here it's like, well, this show was pretty long. Like, are they gonna go further? Is it gonna be about a different character? Like, how is this gonna go? It's like, okay, so like, yeah. But I mean, as far as this looks going, I mean, how caught up are you?
Oh, I'm caught up. Yeah, last scene of them just destroying Kamina is so cool.
No, they're like, it's like, you may fire when ready. I'm just like,
you said the thing. You said the thing.
Oh, you said the thing. And it's like, so you just go and look at the barracks and the mess hall. You're just like, dude. And you get like flashbacks from all those like old Clone Wars episodes. They're just.
I loved that like those couple of seconds of just like flashes of like the different empty places of like you've either played those in a Battlefront game or seen those like rooms in other Clone Wars stuff. It just then like there are legitimately some people who are stupid purists and are like, that's not how it happened. What happened was in Battlefront 2 when there was that clone rebellion 20 years after the war ended. It was like,
it's like, guys, retcons. They've been doing it the whole time.
That game happened 15 years ago. Clearly not canon anymore. What are you doing?
It's like, guys, it's fine. Now, granted, would that have been cool? Yes. But like,
yeah, sure.
I trust, like, this is Filoni we're talking. Like, I trust him to make it just, you know what I mean? Because, like, yeah, it's not exactly, there's a lot of things that aren't exactly how it's done in Legends or in previous stuff. And you ask him retcon, but it's like, if Dave Filoni's doing it, I trust him.
Exactly.
Like he's got this.
Yeah, it was a little weird that it was like right after that episode where all of Camino was crashing down and sinking into the ocean. We didn't really see what happened to the Bad Batch. It was like that same day they announced season 2. Like you just waited 1 week and then like
that's kind of what I was thinking. I was like, you tell us now, like I didn't think they died, but it's like you gotta like I don't know,
build it up a little bit.
The suspense up a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know, but no, it's gonna be really good, and I'm really liking how things are going. I like the dynamic. I like Crosshair's like the dynamic. He's coming back with the team. I thought that was really cool. With like, he's like, oh, it's your inhibitor. It's like, actually, not really.
Yeah. This is just fun for me. I like doing this.
Yeah, I was like, no, I kind of just actually like the Empire. I was like, oh, there's a girl. I was like, oh, there's a plot twist. Like, he's actually just not that cool of a dude. Like to be like, that's fair, but man, and dude, it's so weird seeing like regular people be like, I mean, I know they call them TK troopers, but stormtroopers now, and it's just like, it feels so wrong. It's like, oh, this is terrible. Like,
it was funny. The entire show up to this point, the Bad Batch have been so careful to stun every clone they fight. As soon as as soon as you saw stormtroopers start entering, just blast.
They don't even care. Yes,
start blasting.
I didn't know that, but they still stun Crosshair. Like, I know he's their friend, but it's like, man, they do not care about the stormtroopers at all.
It's hilarious because like in my head, like they're like obviously in any video game ever, it's like not even close to morally objectable to just mow down stormtroopers. Like they are bad, like they are the embodiment of the bad guys. But in this specific case, like these are people who have either been brainwashed or are intentionally siding with the Empire. Like these are people who are either like misguided or brainwashed, etc. Like I just feel like I don't know, like why I just feel like it's a little interesting that the clones are stunning other clones when they're killing other like real people. I don't know.
Right. Especially when the clones are also trying to kill them too.
Yeah.
This is interesting. But I guess it's kind of just like, it's like, even though they then like the regs as they call them, it's like they're still clones. And it's like, they're still our guys versus, and I think it's also because of the inhibitor chip thing. They kind of think it's not their fault, even though I think now it's kind of, I think that's kind of passed or changed, or I don't know. I still want them to explain that.
Because
like,
there was that one clone on Ryloth that like did that rebellion.
Yeah.
Was he no longer under the order, or was he like following the orders so closely that it like horseshoe theory back into being
right? It's
orders?
kind of, it's like what happens here, like or like maybe there was no Jedi on Ryloth at the time, so it doesn't work the same way. But then how do other clones not react the same?
Yeah.
Like I don't. There's no way of knowing, but it's like yeah. And again, there were like other clones with them were like yeah, this is stupid. Like maybe we are just. And it's like okay, this is gonna get wild. And it's like, So this next episode, I'm really hoping, they talk about this clone rebellion, and I'm like, dude, that like, do you imagine how crazy that would be? Like, just like it'd be emotional, man. Like that'd be
because like I just kind of assumed that over the 20 years between episode 3 and 4, the clones just kind of naturally died off, like after being thrown at rebellions and other like wars throughout the galaxy. They just kind of systematically, after like the last clone died, that was just the last one.
They just didn't make any more.
Yeah. Although again, if you take Battlefront 2 canon as canon, there were apparently still clones in Invaders First on Hoth at least. So like how old are these clones if they were like within 10 years got to be like 25, and then Hoth is like 25 years at least after that, so like they should be like ancient. Like
I'm trying to I don't know how the aging process isn't like I don't think it's entirely explained, but they're supposed to be like way older by that point. Like they should be like
even Rex hair. In Rebels has a beard and white hair.
Like white beard, like looks like 60 something. So it's like that's like before, that's like what, like 10, is it what, 5-10 years before?
I think 5 years before episode 4. It's about 15 years after episode 3. He should be. So like by Hoth, they should be dead.
They should be gone. At that rate, they should be gone. Because from like Attack of the Clones to like episode 5 is like
at least 25, if not more.
Like 30 years or so, probably like 20 or 30 years. So like that's a while with that accelerated aging. But again, like
the canon of Star Wars doesn't matter.
No one cares. Like it's not that serious. Like but it is interesting because again, I think they're gonna redo it. They're gonna find their own way, but it's gonna be really good because they're gonna I think they're gonna do the same idea, just not on Kamino. It's gonna be Boba Fett shows up and leads an army against another army. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna be sick. Like everyone's gonna be there. It's gonna be the
Cad Bane's gonna show back up because why not?
Yes, because why not? Like because it's like and then Hondo show. No, I'm just kidding.
Please, yes.
I would love. I am kind of Hondo's the character I was really expecting them to, especially when they were kind of doing that like mercenary mission of the week thing. I was really expecting a Hondo episode. And it hasn't happened. And I was
not yet.
Really? Like maybe season 2, but I was like, dude, we need more Hondo. There's never enough Hondo. It's the best. This is no longer profitable. Great. That's character.
Oh, no.
Wasn't there something like to have Johnny Depp play him in live action or something?
I'd be down for it.
I'd 100% go for that. Like he's already a pirate. Like it's just make him a space pirate. It was great.
So yeah, moving on to some other nerd news. Did you see that Venom 2 trailer?
I did.
Yes. Why does that movie kind of look good?
Because the trailers are good. Like, first of all, Carnage looks sick.
Sick. Yeah.
Like, absolutely, like, insane. Like, the
Mm,
part where he's got like the tentacle things coming out looking like
mhm.
knives. Like, he looks awesome. Exactly
Yes.
how that should look. So,
Yes.
again, that's a win.
Hmm.
And again, that's like half the movie. If the symbiotes look good, that's already half the
Yes.
movie.
Which that was the
So,
main issue with Riot. It didn't look good. It was just a bigger, grayer version of Venom. So when they're fighting, couldn't
right.
tell what was going on.
Right. And again, Venom looks kind of the same, kind of just a black and a blob. But I think Carnage is so like, just like in your face, red, colorful,
Hmm.
and just weird shapes and stuff coming out of him. Like, I think that's really going to help. Now, how much in the movie is he actually going to be is what I kind of worry about.
Yeah, because Riot, we essentially saw 80% of him in like the first like major Venom trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Like so I wouldn't be surprised if like the two major sequences of Carnage fighting Venom in the trailer, like that's really all we get of Carnage. Um, but yeah, as long as what we get looks decent, it's
It's
and the
still
story around that is fine enough, which is the main problem with the first Venom movie is that it's just kind of boring. Things just kind of happen. The villain is super bland. I don't like the girlfriend character. I don't even really like Eddie that much. It's just kind
no.
of the stuff surrounding the symbiote, the part we actually want to see the two symbiotes fighting. Just kind of not really what I want in a superhero movie, really any movie in general. So as
Yeah.
long as the movie itself is interesting, it shouldn't be a too big of a deal if we don't get too much actual Carnage action, but we'll see.
Yeah, it worries me because again, you kind of in the trailer you kind of see there's like the Carnage prison break scene. It looks like somewhere he's like out on a building or something, and then like there's like the church thing. With the church thing could be connected to one of the two. So
Yeah,
there
I
might
believe the
only be
church scene
really
is connected to him being on that building.
right. So yeah, it's probably only two real Carnage scenes. So like
Mm.
that's not really that great, but again, like you said, if it looks good, we care like the story, and I think what is the guy's name? I keep forgetting his.
Woody Harrelson.
Yes, Woody Harrelson. I think he's really gonna steal the show.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
So
he is one of my favorite actors.
yeah,
Like,
he's hilarious.
he's
Like he's
great.
like anything he's in is just like done very like we're doing like if he's doing it, we're doing this. Like it's
Mhm.
not gonna be like we are going all in on this thing.
Yes.
He's a psycho killer. We're going for it.
And
So like
I was so concerned, like just about the concept of Carnage being in a movie like this because Carnage in the comics, his origin is very weird. Like essentially, in in a prison, like if I'm not mistaken, doesn't like Venom essentially just kind of like give birth to Carnage and like essentially all of the like rage and built up anger and just badness in Eddie like gets ejected out of him and just like like clings onto the serial killer.
yeah.
That's so like not only is the Venom in this universe not doesn't work, not only does the Venom in this universe not work like the Venom from the comics does, we were then once that removed from that being, I'm not going to believe that the Carnage in this universe is going to work the same.
No.
But the fact that like we clearly see Cletus Cassidy like biting biting onto Eddie and like being like that's not blood. What was that? And then like it like getting into a system. I think that's a very like interesting way to go about that.
Yeah, I mean that's probably fine. I think it's a little weird how he like how do you let like someone like Keith Cassidy's supposed to be this like ginormous serial killer. Like how do you let him bite you? He should be like in a padded cell or something.
Eddie's not very good at his job. That's why.
No, he's not, but somehow he always makes it work. But no, I mean, I think they're gonna go about it a fun way, and I think they're also not gonna let the plot like be a problem.
Yeah.
Just kind of the plot's gonna be Eddie and Venom are having problems.
Mm,
Cassidy's this crazy person. This is my big break. There's probably been a problem at work, but then this random guy's been asking for Eddie. So yeah,
Mhm.
Eddie needs a big break, sure, whatever. And then he goes to see him, gets bit for whatever reason. Wow, that guy's a crazy person. He's like, oh, I got me a symbiote,
Mhm.
huge, goes crazy. Symbiote takes over. Then he, Rex has a great prison scene, and
Yep.
then they have their big confrontation. He's like, oh no, that's a red one.
Yeah.
I laughed very hard at that.
Uh-huh.
Like I was dying. I was like, oh man, that's like the most honest reaction when you just know you're not ready for this fight. You're
Uh-huh.
just like, nope.
Is like probably on whatever planet or whatever the symbiote comes from. Like I assume there's like the hierarchy of like power level of different
Right.
colors. So like, oh, red ones are bad. Let's just not do this.
He said, nope, that's a red one. He just said, he completely shut down.
Yep.
I love that.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those movies where I think the simpler the concept and simpler the plot, the better. Like, don't overcomplicate it with random love interest subplots. Don't try to humanize the villain. Just we we just wanted to get to the Venom v Carnage stuff as fast as possible. Whatever can facilitate that, cool.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of worried about, how they ended that trailer with the girlfriend, and then she's like, oh,
Yeah.
she's like, so what else? It's like, oh, we don't care at all.
Yeah, this movie's gonna be 30 minutes too long, probably, with
Yes,
like stuff like that in there.
yes, but at the
Yeah.
same time, we can ignore those parts. Those are what we call bathroom breaks.
Yeah.
So for those who need them, so we'll be
Mhm.
all right.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, that movie coming out on September 24th. It looks it's my hopes for that movie are way higher than the first Venom. The first Venom
Mm-hmm.
movie, I did not have high hopes going in. I left with like it being a 5. So I'm expecting at least a 6 with this.
Yeah, I think knowing the first one was kind of how that kind of went. I think again you're kind of like, okay, another
Yeah.
Venom movie. This one's gonna have a more interesting character theoretically. So I
And
think
different director. So
yes, and that I think is gonna be a big part of it too.
mhm. Yeah. Like I don't really know what other movies Andy Serkis has directed, but I like Andy Serkis.
Mm.
Like he's just a weird man. So like I'm sure he can figure it out. Well, he's better than the last guy. Um, moving over to HBO Max stuff. Um, so you know how we talked a few weeks ago about the fact that Warner Brothers is maybe considering possibly making another Superman origin story movie with a black Superman.
Yes, I
Yes.
remember that.
So like adjacent to that, there is also like unrelated to that, Michael B. Jordan is apparently developing a different Black Superman project for HBO, focusing on Val Zod that he might even star in. So
So that's different.
a a separate, because this is specifically the Val Zod for I think Earth 3 or whatever, like
Okay.
the Earth that character like comes to Earth, as opposed to a Black Clark Kent in the possibly J.J. Abrams one.
Okay.
So
I mean,
that's
I mean, sure. I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I feel like we could. I don't know. This is one of those things that's like I don't want to like say it. It's not bad. Again, I'm not for like yay. I'm not against more black superheroes, obviously. But at the same time, it's also like, why has it got to be Black Clark Kent though? Like,
I'm glad you're saying it.
yeah, like you know what I mean. Like it could be like another. Like, can't we just make another Black Krypton? Like like I'm fine with like Kryptonians being like different races or whatever. Like I don't care. Like, but it's like, why does it have to be Clark Kent specifically?
Yeah.
Can't we just name him? Especially if he has another Kryptonian name, can't he just be a different person? But
Yeah, like as far as I know, the like Val Zod doesn't go by Clark Kent. I don't really know much about the character. I just know that he is a canonical Black Superman, which
does he have like the same like life though?
I don't know. I'm really not sure. I just know that whenever people were first hearing about, the Black Clark Kent movie, they're like, why don't you just do the Val Zod story if you're if you're redoing the origin anyway, why not just do a different Superman? But it looks like at least Michael B. Jordan knows what's up, and he's actually, is essentially doing what that movie should have been doing in the first place. So, sure.
Yeah. Okay, this seems different in terms of like his origin and stuff. So that's cool. So I think if they do this different, if they do Clark Kent but a black guy, but the same exact, grew up in Smallville, goes to Metropolis, news reporter, meets Lois Lane, I'm like, okay, that's not really that great. But if they kind of just make a new character who's also a Kryptonian and has superpowers, yeah, I'm all for that.
Yeah, and plus I think HBO Max is a very good place to have like either one-off or like elseworld stories like this. That could still technically be connected to the greater DC universe. Just like I think if like both these projects can coexist, like they shouldn't limit themselves to just what they can produce in movies. If they have this streaming service that desperately needs more stuff on it. So yeah, we don't know the timetable when that's coming out, but that's apparently happening.
Okay.
Yeah. Moving over to Batgirl, J.K. Simmons is confirmed to return as Commissioner Gordon in the Batgirl show.
Okay.
For HBO. Yeah.
Okay, so it's a show now. I
Yes.
thought it was a movie. Okay.
I think it's a show. I'm not sure.
Okay, I don't know. It's something. It's happening. Project. Okay. Do we have a Batgirl?
Yes. Did you see what was it called? In the Heights on HBO? No? Okay. No. What is her name? So it's like there's one actress from that who's gonna be Batgirl. She's not a white girl. I'm going to tell you that much.
And the internet's freaking out about it
a little bit.
Okay.
So it's not just the fact that Batgirl is now going to be played by a black actress. It's this weird phenomenon that like I didn't even really notice at first until someone like made an entire graphic of this. It seems to be a thing in movies and shows recently to recast redheads specifically as black actresses.
Yes, that has actually happened, which is kind of weird to me because until someone pointed it out, I didn't notice it, but it happens a lot because there's Iris on the Flash show,
right?
Zendaya's Mary Jane,
by extension Wally West as well.
Yeah, and Wally West also in the same.
There's a show. There's gonna be a new Superman animated show where Jimmy Olsen is a black guy.
Of course. Yeah, and I mean, and again, I don't know why it's redhead specifically, because it's like, I mean, isn't that kind of rare too? Like, I mean, I don't know, I don't know. But...
Yeah, I think this might sound a little weird, but I think the reason for this is that, generally speaking, redheads, for whatever reason, tend to play supporting characters. Like the main character either is blonde or dark haired, and then like redheads or sidekicks or like side characters in the group.
Interesting.
So if you were to, recast or redo anyone in a major franchise, it's easier. You can probably get away with more if you redo one of the side characters as a different race or whatever, so it just happens to be redheads that keep getting
chased. So interesting though, because that now, like when you brought that up, that has been happening a lot, which is kind of weird, but
which especially I know this happens a lot, but it's very interesting that they are committing to having J.K. Simmons come back to be the father of a non-white Batgirl.
She mixed or something?
I don't think the actress is mixed. She's fairly light skinned, but I don't know if she's mixed. I'm not sure. I should have looked this up before. Let me check.
Let's see. This is Dominican, so. Mhm.
Leslie Grace is the name of the actress.
Right. Says she's Dominican, so I mean, so I guess it's more.
Well,
I don't know. I mean, I mean, she can either be half or adopted or who knows. I mean,
yeah, like it doesn't matter. It really
no,
doesn't.
no, it really doesn't.
It is just interesting that they announced her casting and then like days later that J.K. Simmons is coming back. Like, but I don't know.
I like
I don't know.
J.K. Simmons coming back though, because again,
Yeah,
I mean, granted he had what 2 lines as Commissioner Gordon, but I mean, it's J.K. Simmons, so I'm like,
yeah, and also it could be a thing where like this could be a J.K. Simmons where hey, sorry, this could be a Jim Gordon who like after he remarried, he marries someone who already had like a very young daughter. So they just like
yeah, yeah,
daughter,
they could
or
very
adopted.
easily,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, they could very easily figure that out. I know there's like different origins, like there's a lot of different origins to like how they're related. Like one, it's like, you know, she's like his niece, but she's like her parents die, so he adopts her. There's one where it's like she's just a straight up daughter. There's one where it's like half daughter or like step kid or something. Like, you know what I mean? There's a lot of different versions of how this goes. I mean, I think some versions his wife too, or his wife's name's Barbara for some reason. I'm just like, okay.
First wife's name is Barbara.
Right.
Then he remarries and they have a kid whose name is Barbara. That's so
yeah,
weird.
that's yeah, that'd be kind of weird. You name your wife after your ex, or name your wife,
daughter.
name your daughter
Yeah.
after your ex-wife. Yeah, I don't. I mean, I know comic books get weird, but I'm like, what? But yeah, I mean, the internet. I mean, I don't know. Again, I mean, as long as it's done well, I think that's fine. Because again, I don't think Barbara Gordon specifically has to be, you know, a white redheaded person. Unlike like, you know, like super like we talk about like, you know, it's like Clark Kent or Bruce Wayne are probably like, especially like Bruce Wayne kind of just makes more sense logically. Not, you know what I mean? So it's like, you know, but like, you know, Dick Grayson or Tim Drake or whoever can be whatever race. But I mean,
yeah.
And
I guess I probably should clarify. She is, yeah, like you said before, I didn't like put together. She is Dominican, so she's not. I guess she's technically more Hispanic. I don't actually know.
Yeah, she's not white.
Not white.
that is I think that's the I don't think the internet cares what I think they just care.
Yeah, because even like Supergirl, when they cast a non-white Supergirl, even though the actress they picked looked pretty much like, you know, just like a slightly tanner Supergirl, just with not blonde hair.
Yeah.
Like she could fit the part. She could fit the part just fine. My number one worry with casting Leslie Grace is that her only acting role so far has been in The Heights, which came out earlier this year, which she was fine in. But like, I don't know. It's just interesting that they picked an actress who only has a single acting role to play this this legacy character. I don't know.
Yeah, and like I don't think how old is
she's 26.
Oh wow, okay, yeah, so that's not they didn't have to like they could have definitely got someone younger. Yeah, so I mean again we don't really know how old Barbara Gordon is gonna be, but I mean assuming that this all adds up with the same universe, Dick Grayson's like, you know, well I guess dead, but I mean he's at least somewhat grown, so she would theoretically be grown-ish. So I guess that adds up, but I don't know.
Yeah. Like, yeah, like I have no issues generally. I don't know if I've ever really had an issue with them recasting or like, you know, race swapping actors and actresses to play different characters. Like it really doesn't matter. It's just very funny watching Twitter react to when it does happen.
Yeah, people freak out. They're like, no, they have to be this person. And it's like, do they? I mean, like,
because they're not.
Right? Like, it doesn't really matter that much. Like, I mean, yeah, for certain characters, like I get it, you know, Black Panther probably should be, you know, African, but like, you know, like it's like but that's like, I mean, certain characters, but not most
Yeah,
characters. You kind of can just do it. They just all,
like
most of them happen to be white because a lot of comic books are a lot older.
yeah, like if we get a live action Miles Morales and he's not half Hispanic, half black, that might be an issue because like it's a
Yeah,
very
because
important aspect of that character to be, you know, to be
yeah,
that specific combination of
yeah,
races. So like,
biracial. I
yeah,
always forget he can speak Spanish. That's so cool.
mm,
But like,
yeah, but J.K. Simmons coming back in anything, period, let alone as Jim Gordon, which he looked great in.
yes.
Good.
See, but now he's just gonna be giving like fatherly advice and gonna be like, "No, you Omni Man, don't do it." Like, I'll be like, don't listen to him. He's just gonna take us. He's just gonna enslave us all." Wait, wrong show. Okay, never mind. But man, that's awesome though. But yeah, definitely, J.K. Simmons is always awesome. So I'm definitely for it.
Oh yeah. So we've been talking a little bit about HBO Max and some new stuff that's coming to that. I just need to rant to you for a second. Like, I like HBO Max so far. I really do. I've had it since January when Wonder Woman 84 came out. Apparently not actually the best reason to get that streaming service, but whatever. So I've just kind of been having it since. I've been kind of periodically been, seeing what's on there. And theoretically, HBO Max should be the biggest shot any corporation has of competing with Disney Plus. Like, yes, obviously Disney has, Disney, Star Wars, Marvel, Muppets, all of the Fox properties, Simpsons, etc. But the premier Warner Brothers streaming service should be a very good competition for Disney Plus. Like, let me just go over some of the properties that Warner Brothers has at their disposal that they could, put on there. We got everything DC,
Right.
Batman, Superman, Justice League, Wonder Woman, just, all of that, including all the movies, legacy shows, recent shows, new shows, etc. Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Looney Tunes, and Tom and Jerry somehow. I don't know why they got both, but they do. All the Hanna-Barbera stuff, Scooby-Doo and Flintstones, Jetsons, that type of stuff. Godzilla, King Kong, Mortal Kombat, Matrix, Mad Max.
Forgot about the Matrix.
And other stuff they partnered with, including stuff like Sesame Street and Cartoon Network. Like, they have a ton, just a monstrous amount of stuff that could be on there. Yet very often, I'll just be like sitting at home with my brother and be like, I want to watch X thing. Even though HBO Max is the premier place to watch any Warner Brothers or Warner Brothers adjacent thing, the thing I specifically want to watch is not there. Like, I haven't seen a second of Generator Rex in like probably over 5 years.
Oh, I forgot about that. That was a good show.
HBO Max has every season of Ben 10, as Gumball, Steven Universe, Adventure Time, like a bunch of Cartoon Network stuff, Powerpuff Girls, etc. Like, they have a ton of Cartoon Network stuff. So I, like, one day randomly I was like, hey, I talked with my brother, I was like, hey, we should watch Generator Rex, and he was like, okay, let's do it. I flip on HBO Max, super confident it would be there. Guess what show is on HBO Max?
It is not on there. And like, there's no real reason why, because it's not like it's anywhere else.
Yeah, there's even a crossover show. There's like a crossover episode between Ben 10 and Generator Rex. So if you want to watch all of Ben 10, that one episode isn't actually available for whatever reason. And yeah, like I said, it's not like Generator Rex is on anywhere else. I don't know.
I have no, like, yeah, they're just kind of like, I don't know if they're holding it or like what's going on. It's like,
I don't know. And at some point, like in the past couple of months, I was like, hey, they have Mad Max stuff on there. Everyone loves Mad Max Fury Road, one with Tom Hardy from 2015, I think. It's like, I want to see what all the fuss is about. Let's watch that movie. Mad Max Fury Road isn't on HBO.
One of the biggest things they would have. Yeah, I've noticed that. A lot of things they
and Road
should
Warrior,
have.
but not.
Yeah, especially, yeah. And even like with DC movies that have like come out like a while ago. Like I know there's a couple of Batman movies that like, not even the not the Killing Joke, not even the like how did I forget the name? Long Halloween movies, like those, which for some reason aren't on there. Not even for like premiere access, they just don't here.
Yeah.
But also like there's like Batman Soul of the Dragon that came out last year or earlier this year or last year, not on there at all in any capacity.
There's some animated Mortal Kombat movies that have been coming out recently, not on there.
There's so much on there. It's just like why not? There's no reason not to.
Again, me and my brother were just like walking, like we're just just doing whatever at night, and like I just randomly was like, the Legion of Superheroes is probably on HBO Max, like a show that has that like I haven't seen since it aired back in 2007. Like
that was a show.
I don't even know if it's any good, but I want.
I thought it was pretty good. I'm trying to remember.
Rewatch it. Like, as a kid, you think anything's good.
That's true. That is true. That's true. You think
flip on HBO Max.
Not.
Legion of Superheroes is the only DC show that's not on HBO Max. Like, why?
Yeah, it's on Amazon Prime
for $1.99 per season.
Yes, which is first of all is outrageous.
Yeah,
because why? Like, I don't even.
Like, you can watch the original Super Friends show from the 60s. You can watch Young Justice, Teen Titans Go, Justice League Unlimited. Like, there are so many great Justice League or DC shows and movies out there that are on HBO Max, but it seems like whenever I actually want to watch one, it's not there. And like something as big as Harry Potter, like when HBO Max first drops, everyone collectively should have been thinking, oh, cool, this is going to be the premier place to watch Harry Potter. Nope. Warner Brothers decided, even though HBO Max has been in development for over three years prior to whatever I'm about to say happened, they decided to sign a 5-year contract with Peacock to be the exclusive streaming place for Harry Potter movies.
Peacock. How dare Peacock? Like, I love it. There's so many streaming services. Like, how dare you exist? Like they're stealing shows that other people want to watch, and it's just like, no, don't do this. People will just dislike you more. They're not gonna want to get your stuff.
This will never be a problem with Disney. Like, if a movie or show has any association with Disney, it is or will very soon be on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Even the Fox property Marvel stuff, generally speaking, is on Disney Plus. Yeah, the Fantastic Four movies, most of the X-Men movies, actually, I think Dark Phoenix is still on HBO for some reason. Like everything Star Wars, pretty much everything Marvel. There's not Spider-Man, though that is also coming next year. Outside of Incredible Hulk, but no one cares.
Yeah, no one's missing that show.
Yeah, and even in that one in particular, there actually is some legal thing with Universal, which is why because that one wasn't actually really a Marvel movie. I mean, it was, but I don't even think that one was produced by Paramount at the time. I think it was fully Universal, whereas the other MCU movies were Paramount, but then Paramount essentially sold the rights to Disney, so they didn't have the rights to sell Hulk to them.
Right.
So yeah, they just don't have the movie rights to Hulk. Whatever. That's one MCU character.
Yeah, and it's the worst movie. So
exactly. You don't have to worry about any major legacy content there. All of the pretty much every Spider-Man cartoon aside from Spectacular Spider-Man is on there. Like pretty much every season of the Muppets is on there. Pretty much everything from the Disney Channel is on there. Like Disney doesn't have this problem. If there is a major franchise that Disney has, there is a 99% chance that it is on Disney Plus. Like I know, like especially with something like Generator Rex or Legion of Superheroes, where they have other movies and shows from that era, from that same network.
Right.
Why is
it's
that
like it's missing?
Why is it? What? I don't know.
No, I mean you're totally right. Because again, it has every other Cartoon Network show from like that mid 2000s era, but Generator Rex, and it's like, why? Like,
I don't know.
I mean, that doesn't. Yeah, there's no reason really not to have it on there, except to not be on there, I guess. But it's like, okay, fine. I'm not upset.
And like, not only am I saying this out of like, I guess selfishness for wanting to watch these movies or shows, whatever. I'm also just like we said earlier in the podcast, I don't want Disney to be too complacent. I want them to at least feel like they have competition, to feel like they need to try to stay relevant in this modern era. But if HBO isn't the the thing that could potentially be the Disney Plus killer, Netflix clearly isn't, because they're losing sponsorship,
everything.
losing viewers. Like the newest movies and shows that are on there aren't really all that great. Peacock, no one really takes seriously. Paramount Plus could potentially become that in the future, once the Avatar stuff gets on there. But even then, besides of right now, like essentially Paramount Plus should be the premier place to watch like Transformers legacy content, because they partnered with Transformers stuff before, but they don't even really have much of that either. So like, I don't know, like okay, this is only really stuff I care about, but there is so much out there that could compete with Disney that there's not using to its best ability.
They're just not really utilizing it at all.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's weird because like a lot of streaming services is like there's like a glare, like even Disney Plus, it's like your player is terrible. Like, and like I feel like they know it, but it's kind of like
that's another thing. HBO Max's player, it's like decent. It's like pretty much on par with Disney Plus's player right now. Like they're both not the best, but they're both fine. Like on both of them, you can't use the like arrow keys to fast forward and rewind. What the heck? But at least on Disney Plus, when you press play and like the UI goes away, your cursor also goes away.
Okay.
On HBO, your cursor doesn't go away. You have to manually move your cursor
in the
out
corner.
of frame. Like YouTube figured this out in 2006. Why are you so like this?
That's kind of what I'm saying. It's like, dude, you like, granted, YouTube is like, I mean, they've been doing it longer, but it's like I feel like it shouldn't be that hard.
It's not
like at all, but they're making it hard, and I'm just like, oh, dude. Like,
and both Disney Plus and HBO, if you like I said, we said this before, but if you like click, resume content, it'll just take you to the episode you are watching. Won't take you to an episode list. Like that's so like, what if I don't want to go to that episode? What if I wanted to resume watching, but I didn't like watch quite enough through the credits to auto go to the next episode? So it'll just assume you want to watch the credits of that episode again, and then you have to wait to the end of that in order to skip. Like I just want to go to the next episode, but it won't let me. HBO does that as well. like it. Oh, maybe I'm being too harsh on these multi-billion-dollar companies.
No, maybe it's like you guys are gonna be Disney's gonna hold $50 million against Scarlett Johansson. Maybe they can use that $50 million to fix their player.
Especially
it's not nearly that much, I'm sure, but like still,
especially since Disney Plus is only I think it's $8 a month now. $8 a month for all that stuff, all of this great Marvel, Star Wars, Disney stuff,
Everything.
new content, old content, current, etc. Like it's all there. And then HBO's over there being 15 a month, and you can't even have Legion of Superheroes on there. Like, what the heck? Not to mention, like this Batgirl show or this Superman show, movie or show, whatever it is, or what other DC property they're gonna have on there in the future. And that's all great. It's great that those properties are coming. But Disney knew right out of the gate, you need to launch this show or you need to launch this streaming service with a very popular IP. They launched Disney Plus same day as The Mandalorian came out. And then ever since, they've kind of been systematically releasing, especially, the start of this year, end of last year, they periodically are throwing out high quality Marvel, Star Wars, Pixar, etc. shows, so that way there's always something for you to watch on there.
Mm-hmm.
With HBO, that's not really been happening. Like they don't have a outside of kind of Young Justice that I even really got grandfathered in from the DC Universe streaming app, which that was also a whole other thing. Like they don't have like a premiere DC show or movie that's like exclusive to HBO that people can just come back to and get excited for. Not really any other major property stuff on HBO Max outside of because even like Game of Thrones, no one cares about. Like there's going to be
over, isn't it?
shows, but no one cares about that anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I think Game of Thrones is like over, and I feel like because of like how famous the bad ending is, anyone who hasn't seen it's like, well, I mean, it sucks. The ending sucks, so do I even want to watch it anymore?
There's going to be like a couple of spinoffs in the future, but I don't want to watch that.
Really?
The ending of Game of Thrones was so bad. Like Game of Thrones was the type of show that if you weren't watching it, like what is wrong with you? Like you need to get into the zeitgeist right now or else you are missing out. That is like what everyone told you. As soon as that last episode aired, 0 people have talked about it since.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen with anything on Disney Plus. Like people still talk about the ending of Mandalorian season 2, WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, Loki. Like these shows are still talked about, still get traction, and have a greater impact on the universe those shows are set in. And HBO just doesn't have anything to compete with that right now, which I feel they should have fast-tracked that when actually planning on releasing this streaming service for $15 a month.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like you forget it is like way more expensive. I totally forgot about that.
And I think, ironically, the one thing HBO Max is doing right now that actually is superior to Disney, which is the same day release movies for at least the first month they're in theaters. They're not going to do that anymore come 2022. So unless they continue doing that, the one advantage they have, I wasn't going to see In the Heights, I wasn't going to see Godzilla versus Kong, or there were a couple other movies I've seen. Mortal Kombat, I definitely wasn't going to see that in theaters. But because it was on HBO Max, I was like, yeah, I'll sit here and spend an hour and a half,
and it was $30 along with having a subscription.
I'm not spending $30 to watch Jungle Cruise. Are you kidding me?
Jungle Cruise looks so... I'm not gonna lie, Jungle Cruise looks terrible.
You haven't seen it?
No, I have not at all. But I don't want to. I really I watch that trailer always comes on. I've been to the movies the last couple of weeks. Every time the trailer comes on, I'm just like,
I don't care.
This movie does not. This trailer kind of makes me confirms that I don't want to see this movie. I just don't. I mean, maybe it's great. It might be.
Yeah.
But
if it were just free to stream same day as theaters, I would guarantee watch it. But
but not $30 for it.
Yeah,
And see, by the time it's not $30, I'm probably not gonna want to watch it anymore.
exactly. Like that exact thing happened with Raya and the Last Dragon. Like I want to watch that movie.
Mm,
Like I'm sure it's at least decent, but I
it
was
is.
not going
It
to go
is.
to theaters in back in March. I was not going to spend $30 to watch it, but now
No, no,
I
it
have other
wasn't
stuff
that
going on, so I haven't gotten
good.
to it. Like,
It's good, but it was not worth. It's not worth $30
yeah,
after you already signed up for a service. Good, definitely not. But
yeah.
man,
So I don't know. I like it, especially since we are still technically like it's not quarantine, but COVID is still around, and
yeah,
things are still limited here and there. Like HBO Max theoretically released at the perfect time, middle of last year when streaming was at its height, and people have it, but like there's not necessarily a lot to keep you attached to it. So
right.
I don't
It's
know.
kind of yeah. I mean, maybe they'll figure something out, but I don't know. I'm kind of worried that it's gonna like fizzle a little bit. But
Mm.
I don't know. Maybe they can figure like they gotta find their next thing because right now, yeah, they're kind of they kind of feel like they're in a hole a little bit with what's going on there. Because
Yeah,
again, it's like you
like I
think
know
about
Young Justice Phantoms is coming out in October. I think the Harley
yeah,
Quinn season 3 is still scheduled for this year.
that's true. I totally forgot about that. But again,
That's
those are good. But like I don't know. Like again, Harley Quinn's great. Like I love
mm-hmm.
that show. But
Fantastic. I love it.
yes, it's hilarious. Like I remember because I was on record saying it was a stupid idea, and I
Hmm.
resent that because that
I
show's
I agreed
hilarious.
at the
That
time.
was
I
so
my goodness.
funny.
Okay.
Stuff. But yeah, it's just like I don't know. Those are good, but again, like I don't know if that's gonna bring the audience they want it to. Because again, Young Justice has a following, but also I've heard report like these are rumors that this
Mm,
season they're gonna try to focus on the original like team members. Supposedly, I don't know how true that is, but
mm.
I'm not gonna lie. Lately, the last season, I was not feeling all these new characters. I'm like, guys, we already have like six and all these new characters. I just want to watch Nightwing and Artemis and
Yeah, like I actually started
Aqualad.
binging the show again. I watched 7 episodes in one day, like of season 1, and like I just adore every single one of the original cast so much
Yes.
that once you start focusing on Blue Beetle and Lagoon Boy,
Yeah, and even like this version of Beast Boy, like like not that he's bad, but it's just like they're not the characters that I want to
yeah,
watch right now.
mm,
But I
yeah.
don't know.
I guess Titans is a
Yes.
thing that like the main thing I guess I could consider to be like the HBO's like version of something like a Falcon and Winter Soldier, but no one really cares about that show.
No, I've
Never looked
heard.
good.
I've of everyone that I know who has watched that show, I've heard one good review, and like it wasn't even like a good. It was like a I watched it. It was like a. It wasn't even like it's great. It's like everyone else says it's not worth it. And again,
Yeah,
I haven't seen it. I think I owe it to at least try it out, but
like
I really don't want
earlier
to.
today, I was just like on Google and I saw a headline. It was like season 3 of Titans. See if I can actually find it real quick. Oh, not showing up. Whatever. I was like season 3 of Titans, like used a really good concept from the comics, but adapted badly or something. Like even like in the main headline advertising, like
They're just
like
like this ain't it.
reviewing the finale, just like yeah, like I'm sure the like the Red Hood stuff that I'm sure was in that season was like it should have been really good because that arc in the Batman comics is fantastic, but
Yeah,
the show just couldn't do it right.
the show can't handle it. It kind of doesn't help.
Yeah. So yeah, like HBO, I haven't canceled you yet, mostly because we just kind of keep forgetting to, and then another month comes around, like we already paid for this month
Right,
already,
so
like
you might as
keep it.
well. Yeah, but
And then
I mean,
like October is when Young Justice season 4 comes out, so we might as well keep it until that show is over.
right, because you're gonna watch it, but then it's like, but then again, do you want to watch it episode by episode? It's like,
Hmm.
Just wait till it comes. Yeah, because I'm considering. I'm like, do I want to watch it episode for episode, or do I just want to wait till it all comes
Yeah,
out?
I
So I'm like,
think I think Young Justice season 3 actually aired 3 episodes at a time.
yeah, that is right. That is right. That is right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. I was I forget. I keep forgetting. It was weird though, because I'd never seen anything like that. I was like,
Yeah, and I
oh
know
wow.
that was when they were doing it on DC Universe, so they might do it differently on.
Right, but it is 26 episodes, so if they go a week, that's half a year. So like,
Yeah.
yeah, so maybe three
Well, I
is.
mean, Bad Batch was 16
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Why does it feel like it's only been like 7 episodes of Bad Batch?
because only 7 of them have really been good.
Right? Like that's like, dude, there's been some rough fillers. Like 16. Like we've seen 15 episodes of Bad Batch. I remember like 8. Like I remember the first episode, the deserter episode. There was the one with the storm. Like Crosshair gets the new stormtroopers. They find Rex. There's
The one on Ryloth.
yeah, Ryloth has a two-parter, which was good.
I didn't really like the first episode of that, but the second half actually had the Bad Batch in it. I actually did like.
Yeah, I didn't notice that. A lot of people, a lot of people did like that, even though the Bad Batch was in for like 2 seconds. A lot of people did still like it because, like, it's Ryloth. Like, it reminds us of that Clone Wars arc with like Mace Windu and stuff.
Yeah, it had that Rebels character in it.
Yeah, which again, I haven't seen Rebels. I know she's like a character. Apparently, that droid is like a serial killer, which is hilarious.
That droid has you think R2D2 has plot armor? That droid is like, yeah, like literally you could put that droid in a room of 50 million stormtroopers, he'd be fine.
He'd be fine.
Yeah, he would kill them all like it was nothing.
Yeah, and again, I'd be fine with it because again, they're stormtroopers. No one cares. Like clones, I'm like, oh no, like I just love it because it's like one clone dies. Oh man, not my clone. Room of stormtrooper dies. I don't even care. Like it's so different, but it's just like I don't know, that's how it is. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's time to start watching Rebels because everyone's told me. I think there's 4 seasons. They say the first 2.
There's 5, I think.
Okay.
I think.
Maybe it's 5. I don't know. Like they say the first half of the show is not that great, and the second half gets really good. So
I just
like that's a big
I'm sorry.
commitment.
I can't get over the fact that the lightsabers are very thin.
They look really bad.
Like I know people are like, oh, it's cool because it references like the concept art for episode 4. Like, okay, first of all, like yes, like concept art did look cool for the time it was made back in the 70s or whatever, but like it just doesn't really look great in motion. Like those thin sabers just don't like have any weight behind them. And 2, this is a sequel show to the Clone Wars, which is canon to the original show. So why on earth did the lightsaber width change? Like Obi-Wan's lightsaber specifically got thinner between shows. Is this the same lightsaber? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that makes I guess the animation style I'm not a fan of at all.
I really don't.
Like it's real, and that's the one I'm kind of worried about because like it's not like it's gonna go away.
Yeah,
kind of like granted, Clone Wars animation started out kind of rough and like got dramatically better by the end. But like
Rebels came out after season 6 of Clone Wars happened, and season 6 of Clone Wars looks fantastic. Yes. Not as good as season 7, but still looks very, very good.
But still really good. I mean, by like season 4, like it looks like
like by the time Maul's brother shows up, like it's already like
it's already at like peak animation almost.
But like
Rebels, I don't know. I might have to because there's like, but I'm noticing there's a lot of stuff that's starting to like come up because the Filoni did Rebels too, so he's trying to like incorporate. I'm like, okay, I gotta get on this because again, I don't want, you can't be that guy who doesn't know about the show. Like, I mean, you can, but it's like.
Like I've seen some reviews of it or seen cliff notes of different characters, so I think I'm fine enough. But I can't get past the art style. I can't get past the lightsabers being too thin. I think the little bit I've seen of Ezra, I don't love him as a character. I don't know.
Maybe he gets better. I don't know, but
maybe.
Let's see. The seasons are only Okay, the first season's 15 episodes.
Mhm.
The second one is 22.
Okay.
Third one is 22. Okay, I think so. I think it's okay, no, it's 15, 22, 22, and then 16.
Oh, there's
So
only
it's
4
not,
seasons?
yeah, there's only 4 seasons.
Okay.
So it's not too bad. But yeah, I guess okay, and I think season 2 is when they brought in Darth Vader and Ahsoka. So I'm like, okay, like I
Yeah.
can, even if it's not the best versions of those characters, I can still work with that. Like
Mhm.
Tark up, Thrawn, and like, you know what I mean? So like we'll get through it, I guess. But
I don't know. I literally, if the lightsaber sizes were the same as Clone Wars, I think I would be more likely to want
yeah,
it.
the
Like,
lightsabers really stink.
I just like I've seen the Ahsoka versus Darth Vader fight, and like I do think that fight has a lot of weight behind it. I know none of those characters are gonna die because obviously they're gonna show up later and stuff. But like
Right.
I the weight behind that moment should feel epic, but them fighting with like those tiny sticks, it doesn't feel how it should to me. I don't know.
No, I mean that's fair because again, it is like it, it ain't it, you know? Like it don't it looks very like I know there's all I mean, I know these are all kid shows, but I mean that one looks very like even this how the stormtroopers, Darth Vader looks weird, like everything kind of just looks kind of rough, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh man, we're doing this. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe it is worth checking out, but we'll see.
Yeah. So essentially, I wish HBO was actually worth the price it is to me, because like even if Disney Plus didn't have the Marvel shows or the Bad Batch or Mandalorian, I still legitimately think, because of just all the legacy content and all the different movies and shows and stuff that's on there, I think that's worth $8 a month.
Yeah.
Whereas a Warner Brothers streaming service that doesn't have Harry Potter stuff is a travesty. Like, what are
Yeah,
you
like
doing?
if for like really just like come on, like Harry Potter is one of the biggest franchises there is.
Mm-hmm.
And like you could very easily, I mean, not easily, I guess, because they signed a contract with someone else, but it's like that should be one of your staples.
Yeah, like going into HBO Max, they should have been actively developing a Harry Potter show, a Lord of the Rings show, which Amazon is making for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like, several different DC property stuff. Like, I appreciate the Adventure Time Distant Lands thing that they had going on. Like, the only like great episode of that is the one that had Finn and Jake in it, which is, I think, like legitimately fantastic. If you haven't seen that,
I have not actually. I need to check that out.
Yeah. Like, I assume you're a fan of Adventure Time, right?
Oh, dude, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's called Adventure Time Distant Lands. I think the last episode that aired had is like essentially the epilogue for the original show that had Finn and Jake. So,
okay.
But yeah, like it's just weird what they like. They do have new Looney Tunes stuff on there, which I think is like kind of their answer to Disney having more like new Muppet stuff, but that Looney Tunes can only get you so far. I love Looney Tunes, but it can only get you so far. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, they need something new to kind of spice it up. They're kind of, I think they're falling behind, definitely, especially with their prices basically double Disney Plus's. Like, bro, come on, man.
What are you doing?
Yeah, it's not. I don't know whose idea that was, but that was. It almost feels like one of those things where like Disney, like they heard a rumor that Disney was going to charge theirs for like 15. So like, yeah, we're going to put ours at 15. And they did. And then Disney did half. And they're like, oh crap, we already put we can't like go back. Oh,
it's like in 2013 when the PS4 and Xbox One were coming out, and like at E3, Xbox, their press conference went first and they announced theirs for $500, and then Sony literally last second changed their graphic to say theirs was for 400.
Yes. Yes, exactly like that. And it worked.
It worked.
And it worked because again, people are like, okay, which one to get? Okay, that one's cheaper. like literally, it worked because
Mhm.
yeah, I think that's smart business sense because you
Mhm.
know when your products are so similar, people are gonna like use small stuff to like determine which to use. So
Yeah. So like essentially right now, if you're a big fan of like, the Dark Knight trilogy and Lord of the Rings and Godzilla, HBO Max is a place to go for that content. But after you're done with that, you know, I'm sure you can find other stuff. There is a huge amount of content on there, but it's also similar to Netflix where like stuff kind of comes and goes. Like they can't always keep the rights to stuff. So whereas Disney, as far as I know, they don't lose the rights to shows they own. So I don't know. Yeah.
yeah, I have no idea, but I mean, anything, you know what I mean? Like it's like maybe they can figure it out, but I mean, who knows?
Yeah. Huh.
Mm.
Oh well. I still have it.
Yeah,
I'm still part of the problem. I'm still paying for it. Like
yeah. I mean, but it's I don't. Yeah, but I don't think that's wrong. I think it's just kind of like, hey, like it's still, it is good enough that I will keep it for now. But you definitely feel like it needs to be better.
yeah. Like come early next year after I've already watched Harley Quinn and uh Injustice season 4,
Mm-hmm.
if they stop showing movies day and date, if the DC content coming doesn't really appeal to me, since the new Harry Potter show that may or may not be coming is at least 4 years away, I just I might get rid of it. We'll see.
Yeah, not. Mm.
Yeah. So is there anything else you want to bring up or discuss before we sign off?
I've got everything from here.
Okay. So with that, we will see you all next time.
Take care, everybody.